Hello there and welcome back to JBRC and the TRAXXAS build. This is just a little quick update on how it's going fitting wise. You may well see in there, yep, I've got a pinion gears come in. So I basically had to do a lot of clearance on this, and if you can see it, you would see it down in behind the motor. Try and get this camera to so you can see it. Just down in there, there's not much space going on in there, and if you do have to fit one of these big motors, you do have to take a lot of this side off. So you're basically just taking almost these ribs all down this side down to the motor itself, almost flat. And now I think hopefully I've cleared it enough to get a good enough space on that gearing, and it should be in the right place now. And so it's all gone back together. Motor's in for the final time, and I've also managed to get some batteries. So we've got two of those going in there. Yes, they are only 3S. And yes, I am only, for the moment, putting it to a 6S. It's not going 8S at the moment. I just want to get those in there, see how it runs. I've never had one of these, so don't want to push it too much before I've even used it. So we're just going to put the 6S in there at the moment. And then down the road, once I get used to using it, maybe possibly go to 8S. It's an option, so I've left myself the opportunity to change it to 8S, obviously with the computer system and all that gibber in there. But for now, that's how it's going to be. And right, so let's get all this back together and for the final time. So hopefully we can possibly get this thing doing something today. So I'm going to get all this cover back on and all these gibbery bits on here. This one I do have to clearance it a little bit in here, just because of the aftermarket servo we've got on there. I think it might be a little bit tight getting into there, so have a look at that. Might need to clearance that, but the rest seems all right. The rest is going all together quite well. So I'll get it all buttoned up and done up, and we'll be back with that. Okay, as you can see, that's all the batteries in and covers back on. So that went on all right. It's a little bit tight around here, and it's basically because of the shelf here. It needs a bit of sort of clearance under here, but it's fine. It should be okay, and it is up against the motor here, but I'm sure the heat won't affect that too much, and it's metal, so it should probably help it if anything. But yeah, so if I flip it over, I'll probably get in the way a little bit here, and I'm just going to chuck it on this box I've got, just to try and get it off the ground so I don't have the wheels on the ground like that. Let's back it up. Okay, so I've also, if I can get this camera to show you, I've also fitted radio box. It's basically so that I can run, I'll try and get my controller out, so I can run my standard control that I use on the Jeep that I built. So I'll have the SCX on one radio box and this on another, because you can have more than one model on those radios. And I've also bound it to the box, put the bind wire in the end there, and you basically hold the bind wire down on the controller, turn it all on, and it binds it. You've probably seen videos online for it anyway. And I've also set up the ECU, so you have to set up the accelerator and braking distances and all that jibber. It's fairly simple. The button under here, you basically, as you turn it on, you hold the set button in, and it goes into a setting mode, and then it tells you press set once for the neutral position, you pull the acceleration all the way through, press it again, you then put it in full reverse, press it again, and that's then set. So, and it bleeps like once, twice, 3 times for each setting. And so it's all set. So if I drop this down here for a minute, drop you down here for a minute, I can bring it to life. I basically just got to try and get these batteries back in now. I'll just come off camera just to get these batteries in, because they're a bit awkward to get in. Anyone who owns one of these probably knows batteries aren't great to get in. And if you've got aftermarket ones like I've got, even worse. So, hold this off the ground. Let's get my radio. Turn it on. And I have steering. So that's to life. And also it's alive. We have motion. So after all this building, after all this time of putting it together, that one piece at a time, or 2 or 3 in my case, it's there, it's alive, and it's possibly pretty damn quick. So I reckon our next video is going to be getting this thing out and on the tracks or anywhere I can find, basically, and giving it a test run. I have got all the other parts coming to get the body done and all the finishing touches, but I reckon now it's running, there's enough there that we can actually test it and see if it's all good. And as I said last video, there was something that I wanted to show you that was you may have noticed in the previous video, and it was to do with, I'll just turn you around here, it was to do with something back here. And if I do that, it's to do with that, and you still might not notice, but if I point out those, we have different wheels. So yeah, that's the front alloy set that you can get for those. And the only thing I've got to say is the bolts in the wheel hub itself, they're Allen keys, and they probably look better if it was actual bolts. But let's spin this round back here. And I also have these to go on. And again, there's bolts in there, but they're Allen keys, and they probably would look better with just standard bolts in there. But let's get these on and see what it looks like with the whole, well, I've got one set of rear and a front, so let's get those on. Okay guys, so there it is. That's the one on the back. So we've got a front and one back one. And well, I think they look great, but you let me know. You tell me what you think. Do you prefer the look of the standard, I can try and get this to stand up, the standard front? It does look more sort of chromy, shiny, but it is only plastic. Or do you prefer the metal? And you can see the comparison on the back there between the originals and those. And just imagine those with actual bolts instead of Allen keys. I reckon that would look pretty good. And yeah, so I reckon I'm going to go for the full set and get the other backs as well. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think they're worth getting and keeping on there? I think they look great, and it's a good addition. But yeah, that's that anyway. So I think that's about it for now. We'll next video, hopefully we'll get testing on the UDR, and we'll have it out there somewhere and just let it rip and see what it does. And hopefully nothing breaks, because I'm pretty good at breaking stuff like that. But see you next time for the test drive of that UDR, and that'll be a good one. So see you next time.